My name is Liz, and today we're going to get started on our journals. So I'm super excited about this. I'm like so looking forward to spending this week with you and creating and seeing what we create and how we create and what we discover. Because creativity is all about discovery for me. In my opinion, I believe that creativity is about self-awareness. And through self-awareness, we get to be our most authentic selves. So we get to really embrace creativity, embrace our imperfections, learn how to trust the journey, trust the process, trust yourself, trust your intuition. All of those are so very important to really knowing who we are. And when we're comfortable and confident in who we are, we get to be our authentic selves. So that's where I am at the moment, and that's what I'd like to share with you. So let's get started on our journals. With all that being said, I am so excited you're here with me on this adventure. I'm going to flip the screen here and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so this is my journal. It's a simple composition book, 100 pages. Mine does have lines. You can get them unlined, but it doesn't matter. We're going to create magical things in this book, so you can use whatever you have available to you. It does not have to be special paper. In fact, it's better if it's regular paper, because then you're not going to treat it preciously and you're not going to be concerned about some of the steps we're going to take. So the first thing I'd like to invite you to do is inside either the front or the back cover, we're going to write our intention for this book. Our intention for this week, our intention for this class. And our intention moving forward from this moment on. So I am going to write my intention is to create joy, peace, and connection in myself and others. I am committed to creating acceptance, abundance, possibility, growth, and love. Through my own regular, consistent, creative practice. I'm signing that. And then before we get started, I'd like to do a little like a prayer or an asking. So you can use the same color or you can use a different color. I'm actually going to use a colored pencil here. And I'm going to ask for guidance. So whether you believe in God or source or the universe or whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, even your higher self, asking your higher self, what do I need to know? What do I need in this moment to get me through to the next step? So I'm going to write over top of my intention here. Please show me, teach me, guide me to discovering joy, peace, and connection. Through creativity. Please help me tap into my intuition and trust the process and the journey. And I like to sign that one too, because it's like a prayer to me, and I like to sign it to say, like, these are my words, this is what I am asking for. So that is our intention and our intentional prayer. This is a form of like an intentional creativity practice. So we always write an intention or set our intention before we get started. And I'm just noticing that my video has gone very blurry on me. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, there we go, that's better. Okay, so now I'm opening up my book, and I am not a fan of this speckly cover. So I'm going to use gesso, just regular white gesso. You can skip this step. You are welcome to do this step along with me, whatever you feel necessary. But we're going to create our covers today. And so I'm going to pour some gesso on here to prime my cover. I like to use these sponges. And it's not going to be perfect. It's just going to go on here as a base. And gesso generally dries pretty quickly, which is amazing. And then while the gesso dries, I'd like to invite you to get out some collage materials. So some magazines, if you have some favorite papers that you just love the designs or the colors of, wrapping papers, anything that you can use to glue onto your book and make it your own. Because this is going to be your private journal. One of the most important things I feel about creativity and having a creative practice is that you need to have space to create just for you. It does not have to be for everyone's eyes. This book is for your eyes only. And if you want to share, you're absolutely welcome to share. I would love to have you share in our group, but there is no obligation to share because this is a very personal journey, and you get to have your space to create just for you. It's just like a private diary from when we were kids. So I have some collage pieces already over here that I'm going to go through, and I'm just using a glue stick. I have a glue stick from Blick. And so once the gesso dries, I'm going to place some pages, some pictures onto my cover. And some of them are images, some of them are words. Like, I love this picture of her. Just love this picture. I love the colors of it. Oops, see it. I love the colors. I love the feel of this. I'm going to use this. The cover's still a bit wet, so I'm going to just move this for a moment and pick out my pictures. So I want this one. I want this one of her spinning. Creative inspiration. Presents, because this is a gift. Gift to me, a gift to you. Okay, and so what else do I want? I have a bunch of phrases here. Connection and care, that's a good one. And you can choose whether you want to cut out your pieces or just rip them out, because there is such a joy in ripping the pages as well. Free spirited joy. Play. Fearless. Anything, so you're picking anything, nothing specific, okay? So the idea is you just let the images come to you. You just go with your intuition, your instinct. What feels good right now? So see, I love these pictures of the roses, but of the rose, but it's not really speaking to me right now. Technicolor super fun, not calling me. So I'm going with nose. You want to try to make your decisions really fast. Ignite your senses. That one. This is such a fun little picture. I love this, but I'm not really. Let's do this over here, maybe. Puzzle pieces, feathers. You're just making decisions really quickly. You can pause the video if you need to and go through your imagery, your magazines, and come back when you're ready. Stop imagining, start painting. Is that not like the best to find for this project? I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm putting it on there somewhere. Retreat yourself. Ooh, I've got a lot of words today. Hold on to that for another time. Okay, that looks like it's going to be pretty. I really like this one too. Hold on, let's check. So, as gesso is dry, or just about dry, I've got a tiny bit in this seam, a little bit damp, but mostly dry. So, let's take these and we're going to actually, yes, I was just debating. I'm like, do I want to put color on it first? But no, I want to put these on it first. You can paint it if you want to. If you want to paint your cover, go right ahead. I am feeling just getting these pictures on here is going to do very well. And then we can put paint in between if we want to. Oops, I'm ripping my paper. And that's okay, because this is all about the process. And it's not about perfection. It's not about being perfect. This is about me enjoying what I'm doing, you enjoying what you're doing. And really just connecting in with that intention that you set inside the cover. What does joy look like for you? What does self-care feel like to you? Care. When I started my creative journey, I was not practicing self-care at all. And now I had gotten into it, and then now I have fallen out of my practice. So that is a big inspiration for doing this web series or this challenge with you, is to help me as well get into my practice on a daily basis. Because in the last couple of months, I have not been consistent. And I get to be consistent and take care of myself. And you get to be consistent and take care of yourself every single day. So just picking the pictures that feel good. Anything that the color speaks to you. It does not have to make sense. So don't be like, oh, this is a weird picture. I don't know why I want this. If it calls to you, use it. This picture of the gifts I love. This process, time is a gift, as well as it reminds us to be present in the moment. And if you have something like gel medium, if you have white glue, you're welcome to use that, or Mod Podge, you're welcome to use that. I just like the simplicity of using the glue stick. And then sometimes after I will go over it when I feel like I'm done with a matte medium. But one of the other joys of this is that you get to be always in process. So you don't have to come to a point where you say, oh, my cover is done, and then never touch it again. You get to do this and change it whenever you want to. So take it to where it wants to be today. And then tomorrow, if there's something else that pops up, go with that, add it in. If you're doing a page in the middle of the journey and you decide, oh, I want this on my cover, put it on your cover. One of the things about this type of journaling process called cosmic smashbooking is that we get to be in an all constantly evolving process. So just because a lesson is quote unquote complete does not mean that the journey is over for that page. We get to continue the journey constantly asking, what do I want? What does this require? What does this need? What do I need? Apparently I needed a lot of words today. A lot of words. I usually don't have this many words. But I love the way this is turning out so far. Ignite your senses. And as you do this, really just kind of try to get into a space of curiosity. So not needing it to have a reason, but just being curious. What does this mean? What does this mean for me? What does this represent? So yeah, any words, any imagery, stick those on your cover. Like I said, if you want to paint, you're welcome to use acrylics, watercolors, anything that you need. You're welcome to just jump in with collage. You don't need to do your gesso first. Butterflies to me represent transformation, a metamorphosis process, changing from a caterpillar into a butterfly, where they actually kind of dissolve almost and die before they reawaken as a beautiful butterfly. I love the imagery of that. I love the representation, and I love how that applies to what creativity can bring us. So there's my cover, very quick and basic. And the end, I'm probably going to add some more color, but for now, this is how I would like to leave it. So another thing we do with smashbooking, reason is not the reason, we're not going to go there yet, very soon. You want to reinforce the paper because the pages are very thin. And if you're using watercolor, which you may be, I know I certainly intend to use watercolor, then the pages get very wet and flimsy and they rip. And it's not fun to have your page rip in the middle of your creating. Oh, and I think this glue stick is about had it. Good thing I have another one. So we're going to glue 2 pages together at a time. So glue those 2. And then this process is very simple but can be confusing for some reason. The first time I did it, I glued together like 4 pages at once. So then you flip the next page. Glue that one. Flip that one over. And really, get acquainted with your book. Page. Do this. So this process is all about the 5 senses, building your smash book, building your creative journal, awaken your 5 senses. So we have the beauty and the visual aspect of it. We have lots of touch while we glue the pages. In the next step, you will see we'll bring in touch and sound. Something else I'd like to invite you to think about is, what's your favorite smell? What do you like to eat? No, we are not going to be licking our journals. There's no tasting of the journal itself, but we do get to add something, a piece of something that we like to eat to the journal so that we can include all 5 senses. So is that like a candy wrapper, your favorite treat? Is that a sticker from your favorite fruit? What could that be? So thinking about my intention to bring in joy and peace and connection to my inner child, connection to my higher self, connection to all of you, connection to my family, because through knowing who I am and what I get to create for myself and taking care of myself, I can be more present for my family, and I can be a more loving version of myself, a more patient version. I don't know if any of you have noticed with yourselves, but for me, when I'm tired and I'm not taking care of myself, I get very irritable and very short with my family. And that's not fair. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to me. And so by taking the time to care for myself, I care for others in a more gentle, patient, loving way. And that is how we justify if there's any sort of doubt, any sort of feeling of unworthiness of this time, this space that you're creating for yourself. Think of how it affects other people. If it's hard for you to be loving towards yourself, think about your family. If you have kids, make sure you're taking care of your kid's mother because she's important. She's important in their lives. You are important. And later in the week, we're going to talk about creating space. Space in our time, space in our schedule. For me, I wake up before the rest of the family. That's how I make the space. And for you, it could look very different. Maybe you're a night owl. Maybe you want to stay up after everybody goes to bed. Instead of watching an hour of TV, create for an hour. Get out your journal, write, draw, paint, scribble. There's so many options. Creativity is not just artistic talent. There are many sorts of gifts that we have that are creative. Maybe you like to cook. Maybe you like to garden. Maybe you like to bake. Birthday cakes, cookies, bread. Maybe you love to dance. Maybe dancing is your thing. Whether it be ballroom dancing, something classic, something new like hip hop, or whether you're just dancing in your kitchen, having a dance party with your family while you're cooking. That's creativity. Do you like to sing? Do you like to write? What makes your heart sing? What do you do that really lights you up? Makes you feel good for the rest of the day, makes you feel prepared. These are your creative practices. What are the things that you haven't even noticed that you do or that you love? You haven't noticed that you love, you just do them automatically. Mindfulness plays a big part in a daily creative practice because aside from just doing the action, we want to be present in the moment and really enjoy and experience what we're what we're doing, what we're creating, what we're accomplishing. One of the biggest lessons I learned from starting a creative practice is that life is about the journey and not the destination. And it's a famous quote. Everybody knows the quote. But I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand beyond the words what that meant until I started painting. And then I got to a point where I still wanted to paint, but I had no more room to hang my paintings. And that's when it dawned on me. It doesn't matter. I don't need to have a purpose. I don't need to have a place for my painting before I can create it. I get to create it just because I want to, just because the time is now, and just because it makes me feel good. Marie Kondo, in her book about, I can't remember what it's called now, but about simplifying and tidying up, she says that when we buy something, it serves a purpose just when we buy it. So even if you buy something and you never use it, don't feel guilty about getting rid of it, because it has already served its purpose. It filled your cup. It made you joyful. It rewarded you. It did something for you when you purchased it. So sometimes just the simple act of purchasing an item, that's what it's about. It's not about using it. It's not about having a place for it. And so art is the same thing. And that's why journaling is such a brilliant method of getting our creative ideas out. Because you don't need to have a place on the wall to hang it. You don't need to have an intention. Well, you need to have an intention for what you want to feel, but you don't need to have an intention for what it's going to look like. No expectations. Just go with it. Be with it. In the moment. Be curious. I invite you for this journey, this whole week. Be curious with what you're creating. What makes you happy? Why does it make you happy? Or the opposite of that, what if something makes you upset, angry, sad, triggered? What is it? What memories does it bring up? Why does it make you upset, angry, sad? So we're going to be curious and we're going to be gentle with ourselves. I'm nearing the end of my pages to glue together. Hopefully you are as well. This process is it can be viewed in many different ways. I find it very relaxing because it's repetitive, simple. If I miss a page, oh well. If I glue 4 pages together, oh well, that's a really strong page then. This is for you to just get acquainted with your book. Touch every single page of this book before we get started. Okay. And there we go. Oops, I got some gesso. There, that's okay. So now all our pages are double. They're thicker, they're stronger. And now, the next step. This step is all about overcoming perfectionism. So we're going to take the book, I like to turn it sideways, and we're going to take our glued together pages, and we're going to crumple. Yes, that's right. We're going to crumple all our pages. If you can't bring yourself to crumple all the pages, try one. See how it feels. Listen to the sound. Feel the page between the fingers. Remember, this book is not precious. This is for you. Crumpling pages, we no longer have the expectation when we come to the page of making a perfect image. Therefore, we are more free to create whatever our heart desires. As you're in this moment of crumpling, what does the sound remind you of? Like a fire, flame, like thunder. Look at this. It's so awesome. These books would get so big and puffy. Don't think of this as destroying it. Think of this as loving it and allowing it to love you. Playing a very important role in your process. Let me share. I first made my very first smash book, and we came to this step. I was like, I'm not crumpling my pages. And I actually cried when I was encouraged and challenged, stretched, just crumple one. My inner voices telling me that I was wrecking it, making a mess, that I couldn't create anything beautiful inside it anymore. That is all lies. We tell ourselves to remain comfortable outside of your comfort zone. Think about this. What is your resistance about? If you're resisting crumpling the pages, what is your resistance about? Avoiding. If you're enjoying crumpling the pages like I am, take a deep breath in and out. What does this feel like? Are you stressed about something? You crumple your stress, release it. Satisfying because you feel like you're breaking the rules. As a kid, books were precious. You didn't crumple the pages, you didn't fold the pages, you didn't draw in them. You know, this book is my book. It's my journal, my journey. I get to decide what happens in it. You have your journal, your journey. You get to decide what happens to it. Let go of perfectionism right now in this moment. There are no perfect pages. Perfection is an unattainable goal. Let's strive for excellence. The best of your ability. In order to do that, you need to take care of yourself. Marathon runner is not going to succeed or feel very well if they don't nourish their body properly. They don't take care and stretch their muscles. Their training. This process is a stretch for you, for your mind and your heart. Stretching outside of your comfort zone and out of your box. Embracing the process and the journey. One. And I'm going to flip this around. My book is getting very thick, juicy. How are you doing? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the Facebook group. Creative Renewal. Kind of spring, season, to awaken, ground, the awakening, your inner child, your intuition. Higher self, higher level of knowing. What's it saying to you? Hello, good morning, it says. Nice to see you again. The last page. And there we go. Look at that. So, we have our cover. We have our pages crumpled. Now we get to reinforce the book. So bring your thread, your ribbon, your string, your yarn. We're going to measure at least 2 times the length of your book. Longer if you want some tassels, which I absolutely love and recommend. And then make a few of these. Purpose for this is support. These threads are going to support the book. They're going to hold it together as it gets messy. Whoops, sorry, I just hit the camera. So these are going to hold things together when things get messy. And this also represents in our lives the people who support us, people we can turn to for help when we get messy, when we get emotional, when life doesn't go as planned. We have people we can rely on to support us, that we trust and love, and who love us in return. And we get to lean on those supports. So lean on those supports. So you get to know that they're there. I have this amazing silver sparkly yarn, and I just want one piece of this, maybe two or three. If I can find an end. And I'm not finding the end, so that one stays out. So find the very center of your book where you have your stitching. And you can put your tassels either on the top or on the bottom. And so you thread it through the center, and tie it. I'm tying mine at the bottom. You can tie it at the top if you want your tassels at the top. Whatever calls to you. And I like to do 3 times. And then just randomly pick another spot, another thread. As we do this, think about all the people you have in your life who support you and guide you, who love you unconditionally. And we get to be that support. You get to be that support for yourself. Do you love yourself unconditionally? Or are you hard on yourself? This process will help us to love ourselves unconditionally. I know I'm hard on myself. And I know I'm so fortunate to have wonderful friends and family that do love me unconditionally. I get to see what that looks like. I get to experience that. And I get to learn to do that for myself. And so do you. The support holds the book together in times of stress. So I've got 5 threads in here. You can do more. Definitely recommend at least 5. This is what it looks like right now. The tassels on the bottom. And next, we're going to add the sense of smell. So I have some mint jasmine essential oils in a roller bottle. And I love it. And I'm just going to roll it on the edges of my pages. And you are welcome to use perfume. If you're sensitive to smell, don't use anything. Just smell your book as it is. I love this scent. And as we wet the pages, I'm also going to take, I'm really loving this purple. So I have a little dish of water. I have Fluid acrylic, this is quinacridone violet. Use whatever color is calling to you, whatever color you love. And I'm going to put a little bit of that in here. So it's very, very watered down. I'm going to get a paper towel. And we're going to mix this in, the color into the water. So it's an acrylic paint so that it won't move once it dries. We're going to get very wet. And again, this is called gilding the pages. We're going to go on the edges, the same as we did with our scent. And if you want it more vibrant, put more paint in. If you want it less vibrant, put more water in. We're going to just color the edges of the paper. And what story does this tell us? It may drip down our pages inside. This again helps us with our perfectionistic tendencies, to overcome those, to embrace the beauty that comes from trusting. You can see the edges of the pages start to get tender. We're almost finished this process. We're almost at the point of where we let the book rest and dry. And this represents when we get tender. We have moments where we get stressed, we get wet, and we get tender. We need to be handled with delicate hands. So it's at this point that our book again represents us. Your book represents you. My book represents me. A little battered and bruised, and yet so incredibly beautiful. So again, you can do as much or as little as you want. I'm loving this. Oh my goodness. And the last sense that we haven't talked about yet is taste. And like I said earlier, we're not going to lick the book. Do not eat paint. Do not lick your book. I have a couple of stickers here from fruit. I have the Chiquita banana sticker and I have a Honeycrisp apple because I am committed to my health. I'm committed to creating a nourishment for my body and a wonderful healthcare practice where I exercise and I take care of myself. So stick those in. I'm sticking them on my back cover. You can stick them in the middle of your journal, stick them anywhere you want. Put something for taste in. And that is your journal. That is my journal. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. Jasmine mint. What does your book smell like? Look at this. So we're gonna let this dry. So how did you do? How did you enjoy that? I am just totally in love with this. Look at this thick, juicy book. This is going to be fabulous. Let me know how this process was for you. How was it? What was easy? What was enjoyable? What was hard? What did you love? What did you think I was crazy about? What did you feel crazy about doing? Did you resist? Did you do it anyway? I want to know. How'd you do? Take care. Have a wonderful, amazing day. And I love you.